jackknife. Lowe lays it back for Young, and Devoto did really nicely to find Homer. But the tackle from Whitten needed to be made, and it was. And this is Ferns, and Lowe again. Trying to build something just outside the Chiefs' 22. Eastman to Orterak. That's gone forward, and we can have a word with Rob Baxter. Anything that you can take from that first 24-25 minutes that gives you hope, Rob? What's really impressing you?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we are playing into kind of the breeze that's there. You know, the scores are relatively even. What we could probably do is a few more scrum put-ins, and then we can hopefully try and exert some pressure on Bath, because at the moment there's a lot of Bath put-ins. It's relatively difficult to attack an opposition scrum nowadays, so hopefully, you know, we can start to exert some pressure on the set piece our way. I'd like us to be going forward a little bit more defensively. I think we've become a little bit passive and a little bit looking and watching Bath, and I think we've got to be putting pressure on them. You know, it is a different half-back combination to their first line. And we've got to put some pressure on that. At the minute, we're not really doing that.
And a lot of kicking from both teams. Was that part of the plan? You don't want to be playing it in your own half too much.
I think it's like anything, isn't it? You know, you've got good goal kickers on both teams. You know, you don't want to be making your errors in your own territory. It's an important game. I think both teams are probably a little bit nervy, and I think that's showing in some of the handling errors. So, you know, I think territory is going to be a big factor in today's game.
Cheers, Rob.
Thank you.
They get put into the scrum here that Rob Baxter was saying we need more of. Probably not in this area of the field. We want them a bit closer, as he said, further away from the boot of Homer.
Just the second put in for Will Chudley, who's enjoying his most productive Premiership season. From a Newcastle man.
Again, a case of doing something when you're not going forward. You stand up when you're marching the opposition backwards. You'll tend to get the penalty.
Into the East Terrace, Oz.
Yeah, just looking back at that previous carry and the break by Rockadaguni, it all comes down to Sam Hill. Watch, the only way he's looking is at Burgess. He's the only man he's targeting, and that's all about reputation. And he takes him, he makes the decision, therefore it's not crossing. It opens the gap on the outside. Rockadaguni goes through. That's that battle between Sam Hill's defence and Carl Eastman's deft hands.
If he doesn't take Burgess in that situation, he stands to look foolish, though, doesn't he? It's a tough one.
Well, you need your help from the inside man. Slades needs to push up with you on the outside shoulder, but they weren't helped because the left-hand wheel on the scrum took all the back row away from the inside defence.
Here goes Chudley. Started the season as third choice 9, behind Dave Lewis and Hayden Thomas. So he's first choice now. Carl Ring wrestles it forward. Ben Moon missing after hitting his neck at Harlequins. Slade finding Whitten. Ross Batty working hard to keep that ball off the floor, but it's eventually James's to use. Really made the impact, Tom James, at Sandy Park, that we might have expected him to when he first joined, but he's getting his chance today. Ticking away on his Chiefs career before a move back home. Waldron. Ewers. All been lost forward. Combination of Waldron and Ewers. Losing the ball in the wrong direction.
Some good passage of play from Exeter. And then towards the end, they try and latch on. Ewers trying to rip the ball off Waldron, keep the momentum going. Doesn't take it with him.
Taken in by Armand, fit again, regaining his place in the starting pack ahead of Ben White, who's on the bench. And they win another penalty. Dragging it down, and Stuart Hooper's having a little lecture.
He's entitled to be there, Hooper. He's gone right through the middle of them all. But it doesn't mean just because you're there that you can pull it over. If there's more than one body in on the Bath defence, you've got to stop it without pulling it over. See, he does well initially, gets right through the middle, straight onto the ball. But you can see Palmer Newport in there, Orterak in there, and he drops it and goes to ground himself.
Looked like Armand had hold of him as well, though. He's pulling into the ground too.
Don't close. Hooker.
I think it's worth explaining how difficult it is actually to stay on your feet in a situation like that. You've got so much pressure from both sides.
Wide stay!
On by Mom.
Move! Go half! Johnny runs backwards early.
In control of possession. She's trying to generate a bit of forward momentum.
I think Houston's coming from the side there. The referee's assistant's seen it, playing advantage.
Still playing advantage.
To Slade, it's opening up a little bit here, and Witten pinning his ears back, charging for the line, and the pass was just a little bit low, and Dolman couldn't stretch down.
Not sure how that's not advantage. But we're going back for the penalty against Leroy Houston for coming in at the side and stopping the drive. Really good carry initially from Witten to take the meters that are available in front of him, just the quality of the pass.
He had him on the angle. He didn't need to pass Witten there, because when you're running at that sort of speed on that sort of angle, naturally you will get to the try line. It's a really good break. You watch how Slade turns the corner and he sits down Eastman, so he can't move. Now he just needs to accelerate, get to the inside shoulder of Woodman, make him make a decision. You don't need to throw the pass then.
In 15.
Yendall fires it long to Mum. Beautifully worked to involve Waldron, and then picked up by the skipper again, the former Wallaby. 4 metres short of our first try of the afternoon.
Out 6-1.
In this big match between two of the Aviva Premiership's top 4. Both desperate to maintain a toehold on their place in the playoffs. One of them may well be slipping out by the end of this weekend. Ewers, again, those curved shoulders driving towards the line. Waldrom's waiting, so is Thomas Francis. Now Waldrom has it, runs into Autorak. He's got some help from Armand. The white wall just about holding. There are bits of mortar flying off, though. Chiefs chipping away, but they will chip away no more.
And they needed, when Waldron carried there and got the momentum, once they're in behind, they need quick ball. Because if you're struggling as a defender to get onside, you've got to be passive. If you can lift it straight away and keep the momentum going, you've got a good chance of getting over the line. If you pause, you allow the opposition defenders to get back in position and get on their toes and make a big dominant hit as they come around the corner.
55108, 59646, 56552, 60960.
Again, the penalty, or the turnover, sorry, for a collapse more.
Ali Heaper on the left, Thatcher on the right. Austin, what have you got?
Just looking back at that break on the outside, it all comes from Burgess. He steps in on the outside, creates the space, but then watch how good Slade is. It's so easy to give that ball earlier and allow Eastman to defend on the drift. He doesn't. He straightens him up. All these guys now need to do is get to the inside shoulder of the runner, sit them down, and it's a 3-on-2. They don't. They keep running. Ollie Woodburn does particularly well, though, to buy time by backing off. But that should have been a certain try for Exeter. A lot of players in the midfield nowadays tend to overread what's going to happen. They step in. They're almost, it's their natural instinct. Let me step into the ball and try and stop it at source, rather than just letting things happen in front of you and then react to them.
Crouch.
Big bad scrum.
Bind.
Their own try line just 5 metres away, a little bit less if you're Leroy Houston. Carefully piped in like cream from Mickey Young, and they will get possession a little bit more easily from the penalty.
I don't think referees are quite refereeing the straight put into the scrum as vigorously as they were a few months ago. That ball was almost put onto the foot, or the knee as it was, of Batty.
It's a familiar subject. You talk to any hooker up and down the Premiership these days, and they will say it's a contest to win the space over the ball. So few of them actually hook it back. It's just put it in, drive over.
was a bit, once the horse has bolted, trying to go back to hooking when defensive sides have been so good.
Oh, Woodburn did brilliantly. He snatched it away from Jess, and as he tried to find Batty, it looked like that went forward, and it's been picked up by the touch judge on this near side, Paul Burton.
How good was Batty staying on the field of play then? It's like on a tightrope. He was millimetres from the touchline.
What about this take from Woodburn as well?
Well, watch the technique. Eyes on the ball all the way through. Gets through all the traffic. That's a good take, isn't it? Just gets his hands up slightly before Jess. I enjoyed seeing Batty, though, trying to stay on the field of play. This is excellent. Look at him, tiptoe. Is he in? Is he out?
He's good company, Ross Batty. Heading to go ahead of Rob Webber today. He's
black scrum, knock on white.
soft Geordie accent.
Yes.
Never been out on the town with Ross Batty. He was the kind of bloke that you could only imagine it would involve a bit of fun.
Step up.
He did well there.
Yes.
Ben giving me that cup of cocoa in bed by 8 o'clock.
You've even now the players are your imaginary friends as well.
They're all my friends.
Yes.
5 minutes to half time. Chiefs splintering, but still holding the ball, and here goes Slade. And Jess threads that up the touchline, gathered by Homer. He's got Woodburn taking the long route around him, but Homer
Release
takes it on himself. Young, Devoto. Mom got in the way, and for the second time he was off on a lone gallop to the try line, but he couldn't control it. But Houston carried Young does really well to run onto that. Eastman offering what weight he has at that breakdown. Alterac has a bit more to punch a hole. Devoto, Burgess running into Hill. There's a battle that between Burgess and Hill, and here goes Devoto, who is a glider. Was it here that he scored that fabulous try last season? And that run draws the penalty in front of the posts. They know what Ollie Devoto can do, ball in hand, with the try line in his sights, and he was on his way there.
He's a different sort of 10.
Black one it was.
We know that Ford's brilliant at putting people through a hole, but he's not as good at carrier as this man, particularly in traffic.
See what we're doing?
Good presentation, and then Rimmer a little bit lucky not to see a yellow card there.
He's just going to have some competition next season, not just George Ford. Reece Priestland on his way from the Scarlets. Rory Jennings as well, a new name who's coming through, the England under-20 fly half. He's on the bench today. May or may not get to see Jennings make his Premiership debut, but he's an option for Mike Ford. Some running repairs for the number 8. The replacement for him would be Matt Garvey or Far Saliba.
Bad couple of choices, is it?
Ooh, he toyed with that right hand upright. Slid it in the right side, bounce ahead, 6-3.
Thank you.
And it is Garvey who's coming on for Houston. A little bit of a shuffle in the back row. I think Garvey will go to 6. Maybe Carl Ferns will he could potentially slot over to 7 with Lowe at 8. He'll just go straight to 8 himself.
They might just revert to that back three that they had against Saints.
Knock on advantage.
With Ferns at 8
From
and
White.
Garvey at 6. We'll see. We'll get a better idea here. This is how he hurt himself.
It was a really good carry. Explodes in the contact.
I need stability and balance before the ball, please.
Not like a instant agony, did it? Pulled the calf by the looks of it.
Very short turnaround between now and Bath's next game. They're home to Sale at the Rec next Friday.
Bind!
You'll be able to see live here on BT Sport.
Free kick. Through them up.
She's taken quickly by Waldron.
Thank you.
Not one to hang around. Mum running into Day, who makes the tackle. Burgess was up quickly. Slowed it down.
Those two have met each other before today with explosive consequences. Another big tackle. Again,
Backwards.
didn't he do well to stay on his feet?
Being pressed by Orterak, but James makes some ground. Chudley to Mum, to Slade, to Dolman. One of the Jets to his right is Jess. Dolman holds on to it, and they lose it. Just a little bit of imprecision from both sides in those areas have just held up the momentum of the match a little.
It's good opportunity on that outside. It's just those outside channels, some of the balls not sticking.
On the set. Don't want it moving at all.
Over the last couple of weeks, accused of maybe defending a little bit too tight. Eastman has a nibble at the intercept here, realises at the last second it's not on, slows down, but then it's always a recovery. He does very well to cut the angles and work in tandem with Woodburn. And it's just those channels that Exeter need to control the ball, because they've pulled in all the defenders and it's back. It's on the other way.
We saw it work on the far side, didn't we, with a simple switch from the outside man. You see a defence drifting so hard in front of you. That's the main thing you want to be thinking about. Cut back on the angle and get on someone's inside shoulder.
Where Northampton was so good against Bath last week was doing that, working to one side, and then once Bath got dragged across, exploiting the opportunities on the other wing.
Thank you. Yeah. Keep it square, just keep locked. Keep your hits in as well, then.
Coaches with their notes set to deliver some half-time thought, which isn't far away.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Young has the signal to put the ball in. Again, it's not really a snapback. Can't be just driving over the ball, but they win the penalty.
Straight. It's time, yes, it's time.
I think Carl Ferns is keen to get this out of play as quickly as possible, but will give the job to Ollie Devoto. Lots of huff and puff as Bath gather for the half-time huddle, and it's the kickers who've dominated the scoreboard. Henry Slade for the Chiefs, the two from Homer have Bath ahead at half-time. The thoughts of the great Dwayne Peel when we return. Chiefs 3, Bath 6.